What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks. In today's video I'm going to be showcasing my first Love Cup team that I put together and that I've been rolling with essentially since the Love Cup dropped this week. And so in today's video it's going to be a longer video, about 40 minutes long, showcasing all 5 sets of battles, my first 5 sets of battles using this team. First couple of battles I definitely make some mistakes. I definitely make some mistakes throughout the majority of these battles, but I do make some good plays along the way as well. The thought process behind this team is Wormadam Trash in the lead is a very solid response to the Charmers, and as well as any grass types like Razor Leafers. And you're obviously going to be very weak to fire types, so Electrode is going to be the safe swap here. I think Electrode by far is the best safe swap in the Love Cup. It's very flexible. I am running Hyper Beam on my Electrode, but there is a case to be made that you could continue to run Foul Play. You for sure want Discharge, but Hyper Beam is kind of a nice surprise, but Foul Play does offer more consistent neutral damage against some of its worst matchups. And then I have Alomomola in the back running Waterfall, Hydro Pump, and Psychic as pretty much the hard counter to fire types. So this team, really quick before we get into the battles, this team does have somewhat of a double weakness to grass in the back. So you'll see me a lot of the time if I'm in a neutral matchup with my Wormadam in the lead, say against a fighter or something, I'm not going to stay in there the whole time. I'm most likely going to use my Electrode safe swap in hopes of baiting out that grass type, so I know that my Alomomola can run free in the back. Also, Alomomola is kind of hard to say, so I'm probably just going to refer to this thing as fish the whole time because that's what it is. It's a pink fish. But let's jump into these battles here and I'll kind of talk through my thought process on some of these. All right, the mirror match. In hindsight, now that I've played some more battles with this team and I'm continuing to learn, when I was first doing these battles, I was always fearful that there could be a grass type in the back, but it makes no sense to lead a Wormadam and then also have a grass type in the back because you'd be very weak to fire. But because I got the defense drop, I'm going to switch out anyways. Out comes Scrafty. Now, Hyper Beam I don't think would one-shot, but would be very close to one-shotting. I did one more Volt Switch past the Hyper Beam, and I actually feel like that might have been slightly wasted energy there. Typically, I like to just do 6 Volt Switches and then throw there, because on the 7th one, let's see, Volt Switch is 16 energy, right? 6 times 16, math on stream, is 96, right? 6 times 16. And so if you do one more extra Volt Switch past that, you're essentially wasting a lot of energy. So I feel like just doing 6 Volt Switches is the play for sure. I got a shield from the Scrafty, and then my opponent gives up switch advantage, but this is extremely bad for me. I was hoping that double shielded fish was going to be able to sweep this back line, but I encountered double power-up punchers, and so this is extremely bad. I unfortunately kind of have to shield every move that this thing throws at me, but the counter damage is just going to be too significant here. And they still have that Wormadam that is very healthy. These counters are now double boosted. I'm going to be able to throw this Psychic, but I think it barely doesn't KO. It only hits neutral, and yeah. And then they're able to get to one more power-up punch. Very bad for me. The fish is very bulky. They even get to Psychic, so very nice energy management on their part, and I lost that game there. All right, Electrode in the lead. It is good that I'm seeing this here because my fish gets to avoid it in the back. Confusion and Volt Switch are both the same turn duration. I believe in the one shield, you can actually go straight Iron Head and win this matchup. So that's why I'm going Iron Head here, but look what my opponent does. They no shield. They no shield. That was not part of the plan, so that was a huge mistake. I should have just went for the Bug Buzz. The fact that they no shielded there put me in such a terrible spot, but here's where energy with Electrode is going to be really favorable. I'm going to shield this up in case it is a Hyper Beam, but they throw Discharge, that's fine. All this energy is going to hit for neutral on anything that comes out. It's a Scolipede, so I'm curious as to what they might have in the back. Possibly something weak to this Electrode. It could be a water type. Slowbro is very common in the meta right now, so it could be a Slowbro in the back. Just going to rip off these discharges because shields are up. They no-shield that one. I'm able to get to another discharge, and then most likely I'm just going to swap out right here to avoid being farmed down. They let that go. It is a slow bro in the back. I do have a little bit of health left on my Electrode, but this is a fairly neutral matchup. Unfortunately, it is slightly in Slowbro's favor because they're hitting for neutral with the Confusion as well as neutral with Psychic. Whereas the poor fish, all it can do is just flop around here and get waterfall damage. I get 1 volt switch through and then we simultaneous KO. So I will gladly take a tie there. Good game. Milotic in the lead. Milotic is a decent alternative to Alomomola. This Milotic is running Waterfall. It has access to Surf, and then most likely they're running Hyper Beam as well. You could also consider running Dragon Tail as the fast move on your Milotic if you want to have more play against opposing water types. But I think Waterfall is mostly preferred. This is pretty crazy that Milotic wins the 0 shield here. So I just let this go. And then I think I come out with my fish. Yep, to farm this down. Out comes Scrafty. This is really not great because most likely this person is just going to continue to power up punch and then ramp up. So I don't want to stay in here the whole time. I'm going to throw this Psychic, which I know is single resisted, but I want to get some shields off here. They don't even shield it. They don't even shield it. That's so bad for me. That is so bad. I could not believe how many of my baits failed when I was doing these battles. This Scrafty is now very ramped up. Let's see what I do here. I'm going to have to shield up this foul play and try to farm this thing down. What is in the back? Oh man, it's a Clefable. And unfortunately, I'm not going to get 2 moves off here. I should have went for Hyper Beam because look, they no-shielded. They didn't respect the Hyper Beam. If I would have clicked the Hyper Beam, I would have won this game. So I failed at landing the Hydro Pump on the Scrafty. I failed at throwing a Hyper Beam at Clefable. Those were the 2 things that would offer me a win condition. But lesson learned, stop baiting, because when they no-shield like that, it was very, very punishing for me. All right, Alomomola in the lead here. So, again, this is a fairly neutral matchup. People that lead water, I still somewhat am worried that there might be a grass type in the back, but we'll see. They bring out another water type. They let Alomomola, and then they have Seeking. So, I'm wondering if whatever's in the back is going to be kind of a hard counter to my Electrode, because otherwise they just have no response to Electrode. Seeking, luckily, is not able to poison jab me down. They throw Icy Wind, which I survive, but I don't get to another move. That's kind of unfortunate. I think I bring in Electrode here. Yeah, I want to jumpstart on energy. They don't get to another move. That's really good for me. Wormadam apparently is their counter to Electrode. So I'm totally fine with this. Electrode easily outpaces the Wormadam here, and these volt switches really add up. I stored a discharge before switching out of there because I know that Electrode is going to win CMP against the fish. So I'm up in shields. I do really want to get this last shield burnt, and Waterfall is going to do a lot of chip damage against my Electrode, so I can't really save both shields for it because the fast move pressure is going to be far too much. I'm able to Confusion that down. Out comes their Wormadam. I know that I still have a discharge stored, and I for sure win CMP against the Wormadam. At this point, I just shield and volt switch down because I'm not going to be able to get to back-to-back discharges. Even though I was able to right there, but they would have just shielded if I would have thrown one, and then my volt switch damage would have not registered. This is a very, very favorable lead. So there's the Electrode safe swap. You're going to see Electrode safe swap all over the place. And what I'm going to do here is throw a Bug Buzz. They got an extra volt switch through there, which is very not good, but I'm going to switch into my own Electrode here, because they are now essentially in a range where I can potentially discharge plus farm down. They reveal Foul Play, So I know that they have foul play. I got another Volt Switch through. Very good for me. Gonna let this foul play go. Wasted Volt Switch right there. Huge mistake on my part. Wasted Volt Switch. Wasted energy. But I throw the discharge. Should have thrown the discharge sooner. Out comes Scolipede. I'm just going to go for the Hyper Beam. Just going to go for it. And see what they want to do. They have one shield left. They let it go. Huge play. And then now this is very favorable for me. I'm just going to bring out my own fish onto their fish. And at this point, there's really nothing that they could do. Landing the Hyper Beam against the Scolipede was pretty huge there. I bring in my Alomomola here because if I do get debuffed by the Psychic, I want to ensure that I can clear my debuff with my Wormadam. But at this point, the opponent is just kind of drawing out this matchup because it's definitely over. Okay, they know shield. Good game. Fish in the lead again. So you have different options here. You can either stay in. The waterfall damage does really add up. Psychic is resisted, obviously, on the Wormadam, but Hydro Pump is really going to hurt. So I think what I do here is catch a Hydro Pump. It takes 10 waterfalls to go for Hydro Pump. They almost never bait, and I do successfully catch a Hydro Pump, so that's really good for me. I have preserved my Wormadam. Out comes the Scolipede. I shield up the Sludge Bomb. And I'm going to throw this Psychic here. This will hit for super effective damage because of the poison typing. Now this Scolipede has really farmed up a lot of energy. I'm just going to let this go. They land another Sludge Bomb. I want to be able to confusion this down. I know that they still have their own fish. But I am worried that they might have a decent response to Electrode in the back. There's the Alomomola again. I'm actually just going to throw Bug Buzz here to see whether or not they want to shield this. They do. And the defense fell. I don't know why I'm so hesitant to bring in my Electrode. I think it's because I don't want to have to commit a shield with it. In the back is Vileplume. This is where having Hyper Beam is so clutch for this matchup right here. Especially if it's Shadow Vileplume. But you can see Hyper Beam takes out the Vileplume, and then I'm able to Volt Switch down the fish there. Good game. Magcargo, terrible lead. However, if it's Rock Throw, you can chip it a little bit with Iron Head because it'll hit for neutral damage. And it looks like I get to this Iron Head right before they get to a move. So I'm going to chip it and then swap and see what they want to do. For sure gonna shield this, because that would have pretty much one-shot me. Okay, out comes Wigglytuff. So at this point in my mind, I'm thinking that this could be Magcargo Double Charm. So I'm actually throwing the Hyper Beam here. They shield it, which is unfortunate. I was definitely assuming that they were going to save both shields for their other Charmer in the back. But it makes sense. They want the alignment, so I should have went double discharge there. I think this is a mistake, right? At this point in time, I was not super... Okay, there we go. I saved the Iron Head because at that point in time, I'm starting to think, okay, it might be Double Charm. I call the Ice Beam here because I felt like they were probably one charm away from getting to that play rough. It's actually Crustle in the back. I was not expecting this at all. They fail the sack swap there, and so I just keep farming, and this puts me in a very favorable position. Shield up whatever this is. I have energy stored on my Wormadam. Just going to go straight Psychic here. These waterfalls absolutely chunk Crustle. If I see a Camerupt in the lead, it's game over. There's almost nothing I can do because it totally breaks apart the Wormadam Electrode core. Another very difficult Pokemon to deal with is Sunny Cherim. Those are probably the two most difficult Pokemon to handle with this team. So they bring out Slowbro, and I'm very slow to make my swap here, but I'm still able to get to this Discharge to force the CMP. But Discharge does not KO. So I have to shield up the Psychic. Sorry about my voice. Woo! Oh my gosh. When you do so much teaching and talking all week long, your voice kind of goes away. Apologies, folks. I land the Hyper Beam, though. That is pretty hype. And now I'm going to be able to just get my fish onto this Talonflame. And this is GG's. I do need to correctly shield up a Brave Bird though. And I incorrectly shield up a Brave Bird, but it doesn't matter because I survive a Brave Bird and then I'm able to waterfall it down. Good game. Alright, Slowbro lead is actually kind of interesting. We're both resisting Confusion. I have Bug Buzz, which will hit for super effective damage. Some Slowbros are running Water Pulse, which is why I shielded right there, but in hindsight that was a bad shield. They switch in Milotic. I'm going to bring out my Electrode on it. I know this is just going to be a Surf. So I'm over farming a little bit here. And then I'm going to throw this Discharge. I'm 1 volt switch away from another Discharge, but they let it go. Out comes Medicham. Medicham with 2 shields is definitely tough for this team. Same as Scrafty. But the fast move damage from the fish here is going to be pretty nice. They go for Power Up Punch. Makes sense. I really don't like when they continuously ramp up like this though, so I might not stay in this the whole time. They switch out after they Power Up Punch, which was kind of an interesting play. I'm just going to go straight for the Bug Buzz here. And then able to get to another Bug Buzz, but this was a CMP tie. I figured this was going to be Psychic, and I tank it. No problem. Survive with 1 HP there, luckily able to get this Bug Buzz off. Down goes the Slowbro. And then the fish should be able to clean this up. I no shield the Power Up Punch because I knew that the only way that I would lose is if I get Power Up Punch baited and then they get to Psychic. So there it is. I was able to shield up the correct move and able to waterfall down the Medicham. If you appreciate these longer videos, make sure to let me know in the comments and let me know that you're still watching. Charm lead, very, very favorable. Anytime they stay in like that, you know that they're trying to attempt a sack swap. So I just stored all that energy. I can no shield. I can no shield everything that Magcargo throws. Out comes the Clefable again. Well, the fish is a really, really solid response to the Magcargo. You're hitting for double super effective. I was very surprised that the Clefable actually threw a move there. I was hoping that I could go for Hydro Pump, but that was not the case. In the back is a Crustle. I'm going to burn a shield with this Iron Head and then most likely switch out because they can just continue smackdown farming my Wormadam. At this point, they are in discharge range. So even if I get double baited, which is most likely going to happen, that's fine by me. I do correctly shield up the Rock Slide, and then at this point, it should be GG's. Gonna throw the Discharge, and then I have another Discharge stored, and I think Electrode wins CMP. Electrode is fairly glassy. Another reason I like this team is that you have 2 very bulky Pokemon, being Wormadam Trash and Alomomola, because Electrode is definitely glassy. Alright, the Medicham lead. I don't want to stay in this the entire time, because I am fearful that there could be a Grass type in the back. They're also running Psycho Cut, and then for some reason, they gave up Switch there. I'm not sure why, because that was a decent matchup for them, but I'm going to play this Electrode matchup out the same. I'm going to chip it, I'm going to absorb some energy, and then swap. And the reason that I do this is because I cannot switch in my Electrode onto an opposing Electrode that has a significant energy advantage. I correctly shield up the Hyper Beam, that's good for me. I do know that the Medicham has a move stored though, and they're most likely running double nukes, Dynamic Punch and Psychic, because they're running Psycho Cut as the fast move. Out comes Vileplume. This is why I have Hyper Beam, and it was a grass type in the back, so I was suspecting that would be the case, and I was correct. But this is not over. Their Medicham has so much stored energy. I was assuming that they were going to try a sacrificial swap like that, so I held onto my energy and I caught an Ice Punch. That's really good for me. They're most likely running Ice Punch Psychic now, which makes sense why they didn't stay in against the Wormadam, because both of those moves are resisted. So I will be able to survive another Psychic, and I just need to save my shield for my Wormadam to guarantee that I can get off that Bug Buzz to take out the Vileplume. Down goes the Medicham. I know I'm going to get farmed by the Vileplume, but this is precisely why I saved the shield. because I know that Vileplume would also win CMP, so just in case it had a move, I saved the shield. Bug Buzz lands on the Vileplume and is able to take it out. Good game. Great lead. I love seeing Charmers in the lead. They mirror with their own Wormadam. I don't have a direct response to this, but I do want to preserve my Wormadam against that Charmer for late game. So I might store an Iron Head before leaving. I want to absorb some damage here. Or I most likely will switch right here into my fish. And I want to go for a complete farm down here. So I have maximum energy coming out of this and then minimal health to be farmed. Again, just in case there is a grass type in the back, but this team would be triple weak to fire if there was a grass type in the back, so it's unlikely. I'm just going to go for the Hydro Pump here and see what they want to do. They let it go through. Makes sense because it doesn't one-shot them, so I'm really glad I went for Hydro Pump. Could have went for double Psychic though, and most likely would have KO'd, so in hindsight, might have been a mistake on my part. There's a Scrafty in the back. A double shielded Scrafty. I throw Iron Head here because it's slightly less energy than Bug Buzz, so late game, if I'm able to get to another move because I saved a little bit of energy there, that was my thought process. But these power-up punch users with 2 shields are very, very scary if you do not have a Charmer to shut them down. I do have back-to-back discharges stored here. These counters are really adding up. I get 1 shield there. This discharge is not going to KO, but hopefully it's going to put it in range where I can Volt Switch down. Yes. I shield this. It's just a power-up punch though, unfortunate. They absorb the damage on their Wigglytuff, and then I'm just able to Volt Switch down their Scrafty. So still able to take that game there. Good game. Medicham lead. Gonna go for... okay, this was just very surprising to me. Anytime someone aggressively switches a fire type like that, you know there's going to be another fire type in the back. And so most likely it's going to be like a fire flying type like Charizard or Talonflame. I have a fish fully loaded with energy. Out comes Medicham. Just going to go straight for the Hydro Pump here. And they shield, which I found very interesting. So this kind of furthers my suspicion that there could be another fire type in the back. They really want to guarantee that they get rid of this fish. But I'm just going to safely bring out my Wormadam here. Oh, this game still haunts me. The only reason that they would stay in and throw a move here is if they had Dynamic Punch, was my thought process. But it's Ice Punch. So I just wasted a shield. It is Talonflame in the back, but we are now on even shields. And I make a terrible play here. I no-shield the Flame Charge. And then, because they get an extra Fire Spin through here, I lose this game. Because I'm not able to get to that discharge. Huge mistakes. Huge mistakes on my part. Why did I shield against the Medicham? I don't know. If I was operating under the assumption that they had another fire type in the back, there was no reason to shield. Huge mistake on my part. Here's another mistake. Throwing Bug Buzz. I could have gone for double Iron Head. I made 3 mistakes that totally cost me the match there, even though I had a favorable backline to win that game. So that's totally on me. That's totally on me. Scrafty lead is tough, but I'm going to approach this the same way that I do a Medicham lead. Going to chip it with some energy and then swap. They go for Power Punch. It's fine by me. Just going to go for Iron Head again because I'm anticipating them shielding this, but they don't. That's okay. I don't know why I'm staying in here. Really don't know why I'm staying in here. I'm not sticking to my guns with my... Yeah, I really don't know why I'm staying in here. The fact that there could still be a grass type in the back. I get a shield there. At least I'll be able to have a shield advantage. Alomomola absorbs this energy a lot more cleanly. It's actually an Ariados in the back running Poison Sting as the fast move. So Poison Sting is one of those fast moves that got buffed with its energy generation. Oh my gosh, look how much damage that Mega Horn did. This was so rough. This was the first time I encountered an Ariados, and it absolutely just massacred my fish. They have their own Scolipede in the back, so this is not too shabby for me. They still have the Scrafty though, so I know that at some point in time they might attempt a sack swap. I get baited, of course. They are going to throw another move here. I'm going to shield this up. It's just another Scizor. I have back-to-back discharges here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop attacking and wait for them to do their move so I don't get... And there it was. They were going to attempt the sack swap on the back-to-back, but I can't farm this all the way down. But I was able to farm 2 more Volt Switches, and now I'm 1 Volt Switch away. And I'm able to get to that discharge, and it's going to be just enough to take out this Scolipede. With these 4-turn fast moves like Confusion and Volt Switch, you have to be very mindful of your tapping because it's so easy to be sack swapped on. This matchup is fairly neutral. People that lead Crustle are weak to water. So in my head, I'm thinking there could be a grass in the back. So I'm continuing to overfarm here. I'm not sure why. I'm going to throw this Iron Head and then most likely make a swap. They actually just completely sack it. I was not expecting that at all. I aggressively use my safe switch here because I'm really trying to bait out if there is a grass type in the back. I get hit by a Psychic. That sucks. Out comes a Scolipede in the back. So I am glad. And they no shield. Oh my gosh. So I'm really glad that they brought this out. You saw me stop attacking there because I want more farm with my Wormadam here. Now here's the problem. I think this person was running Mega Horn. Oh, it's Sludge Bomb. So I do survive that. Able to farm down. All they have left is the Medicham. I'm just going to go straight Iron Head here because I want to get 2 moves off. But I don't think I was going to be able to because of my health. So I just swap out. And then double Psychic is for sure the play here. So I no shield that Psychic because I was worried about getting baited. Once again, I felt like my lose condition was going to be getting Power-Up Punch baited. But because they landed that Psychic, now they can just go straight Power-Up Punch. They're actually running Ice Punch Psychic. But as you will see, they're barely able to get to another Ice Punch, which is going to be just enough to take me out. Does 1 Confusion do it? 1 Confusion barely does it, and I'm able to barely win that game. Good game. Okay, Scizor lead. Tough. This was the first time that I encountered Scizor, so I didn't quite know what I wanted to do against it. So I just safe swapped immediately. The fact that they're staying in here, though, makes me worried that they might have a even better response to a Wormadam in the back, like a Fire type. They switch in their Medicham. I have a shield advantage. This is really good for me. I was not going to be able to get to that Hyper Beam, I didn't think, in the moment, so... And I was correct, because 2 more counters took me out. So the discharge, chip damage there was really nice. Gonna bring out the Wormadam and attempt to farm this down. Sometimes Medicham runs Dynamic Punch, but they just run Power-Up Punch here. That's fine by me. I'm gonna absorb a lot of damage here, but I really want to farm this down. And save 2 shields for my fish in the back and see what they want to do. Look how much damage that Medicham did. Wow. I'm gonna switch in my Scizor. They have an Electrode in the back, but I have a shield advantage. So I just got to get to 2 Psychics here. I have energy stored on my Wormadam. It takes 3 Volt Switches to get to discharge. And I'm almost in discharge range at this point. Gonna throw Psychic here, but I know I'm gonna get hit by discharge. And I'm just hoping... Okay, the defense fell there, which is pretty huge. But they did such an amazing job of leaving themselves with minimal health to not be farmed. Like, very nice play. I throw the Bug Buzz here. I'm only going to get to 1 move, unfortunately. And that was not enough. This Night Slash is going to take me out. Unfortunate. Another option I could have done is stay in with the Wormadam for a little bit against the Scizor, chip it with a move, and then make my swap. This is a very, very favorable lead. Most likely an Electrode comes in. There it is. I see this team comp all over the place because it's strong. Electrode is a very, very strong safe swap. So I let that go. They get an extra Volt Switch through. I don't know how that happens every single time. It's kind of brutal. But now I'm going to switch into my own Electrode. I got the defense drop. I feel like Volt Switch is equally as busted as Charm is as far as sneaking in extra fast moves because they just always seem to go through. Gonna throw this discharge here because of the defense fell. It's able to take it out. I'm up in shields. This is really good for me. Gonna throw another discharge here. It doesn't matter how much this Scolipede farms because Wormadam is going to be able to shut down this energy pretty nicely. They even throw energy here, which is really, really nice. Gonna bring out Wormadam to absorb this. And then Fish up a shield is looking pretty nice. It's their own Fish in the back. So at this point, it's game over. I have a shield advantage, and I have the alignment where I need it to be. I know shield the first move just in case I do get that defense drop. But I will have to continue shielding up the next moves. The thing is that this matchup goes on for so long that they will most likely be able to attempt a sack swap. So got to keep your eye on the switch clock. I throw right before the switch clock is up. And then I know at any point in time they might have, they might try the sack swap. There it is. And I'm too slow to respond. Unfortunate, but I'm gonna shield this, farm down, and then I catch the move on my Wormadam, which is a psychic. Doesn't take me out. This confusion damage almost knocks them out, and then we simultaneous KO. So nice move on their part, and then nice sack swap on my part. All right, Charmer in the lead. You'll love to see it. Medicham safe swap. I don't have a response to this. They are going straight power up punch though, which is pretty obnoxious. I'm gonna go for the Bug Buzz here. Really hoping they let this through, but most likely they shield because they want to preserve health on their ramped up energy. But I got the defense drop. Bug Buzz and Psychic both have defense drop chances. I absorb that Psychic, and then I get the defense fill. Really not good. I don't know why I didn't shield there. That was a terrible play. And then I no shield this because it's a power up punch and I knew that I would survive. I'm really hoping they let this go. But they double shield. Okay. Okay. Electrode is going to sweep the back line then. Going to bring out Wormadam to absorb this damage. I might even... Okay, yeah. I'll let this go because it's just a power up punch. Here we go. This is why Hyper Beam is very nice because it one-shots this Clefable pretty easily. They do have that Sunny Castform in the back though, and unfortunately there was just too much fast move beatdown in this matchup. I'm not going to be able to get to Hyper Beam, and this discharge definitely does not KO, and then I'm going to get absolutely melted by this Sunny Castform because I'm not going to be able to get to a move. Died with 2 shields. How many times has that happened to you all in this Love Cup? There's so much fast move beatdown here. Out comes the Fish, and so Electrode is definitely my hard punish to any water type switch-ins. But as you will see here, like Discharge does not KO, but it puts it in a pretty nice farm down range, and I'm gonna have to shield one move anyways. So I think the way that I want to play this in the future is throw a... potentially even throw like an undercharged Discharge. They switch in their own Electrode. I'm just going to go straight for the Hyper Beam and see if they respect it. They do not. 2 shields up and the Hyper Beam lands. They have to throw energy here. I have switch advantage. And I know that they have that Scolipede, so this is pretty solid GG's at this point. They're just going straight X-Scissor here, but there's nothing they can do. So I fainted with 2 shields previous game, and then my opponent is going to faint with 2 shields this game. so much fast move beatdown taking place here. Good game there. All right, got a couple more battles left here. I appreciate everyone tuning in for this whole video. I know probably a lot of people out there are struggling with some team comps for the Love Cup. This has been a team comp that has been consistently positive for me, and as I continue to learn some of these matchups, I'm able to kind of clean up my gameplay a little bit. Gonna throw this Discharge here against the Clefable. They let it go. Gonna get a pretty decent farm with my Wormadam here. And I don't need to shield anything that Clefable throws here. Everything's resisted. It's still gonna do a decent chunk, especially if it's a Moonblast, but it's actually just a Psychic, that's fine. I have loaded energy. Out comes the Crustle. This Iron Head will hit for super effective damage, but they probably shield, and I'm just going to insta-swap, see what they have in the back. It's their own Wormadam in the back, so this is okay for me. This is okay for me. If I fail a Psychic bait, that's terrible. So I'm really debating, like, do I bait here? Do I not? I'm just going to throw the Hydro Pump and see what they want to do. But this was actually very dumb because the waterfall damage was adding up so much that I could have just Psychicked anyways. Yeah, another mistake. Another mistake. Whoops. Gonna shield up this Bug Buzz and try to farm down. The defense fell. That sucks. But I have a Hydro Pump loaded. I knew that they were going to throw immediately because they win CMP. So I immediately swapped, caught the Rock Slide. That's huge. They don't have a move stored. I'm just going to click the Psychic here because I was worried that just in case I, for some reason, didn't have the Hydro Pump, I knew that I had the Psychic, and I'm able to take that game. Good game. Medicham lead. Medicham is a very common lead. So I'm going to go for the old... Okay, yeah, anyone who safe swaps a fire type like this, again, there's most likely another fire in the back. So with this, I do know that Sunny Castform gets Solar Beams, so shield once, farm down is the play here. I'm going to have a lot of energy to dump on the Medicham. And I'm so healthy that I'm just going to go straight for Hydro Pump here. Never mind. I'm going for the Psychic here. I was definitely flip-flopping my gameplay decisions while I was doing this because they no shield. They no shielded that Psychic, which felt terrible, but I'm able to get to another Psychic here, but it doesn't do that much damage. Just should have went for the Hydro Pump. They shield that one, though. Everything is happening the opposite of what I think. Okay, they do have Dynamic Punch, though. That's really important to take note of because that's going to do a lot of damage against my Worm. Magcargo in the back, and it's running Ember. It's running Ember, so it's doing decent amount of fast move damage here. But all I need to do is get to 2 discharges here, which I'm at back to back. I actually need to get to 3 because they're most likely going to shield this. Wow, they let that go. I was worried that I would not be able to farm down, but I could have potentially farmed down there. They let it go. They throw immediately. And Dynamic Punch does take me out, but I'm able to bring out my Wormadam, and I would barely survive Dynamic Punch at this range anyways. I'm able to Confusion it down. Good game. Wormadam against Scolipede. You'll love to see it. They're very slow to the swap, so they absorbed an entire Confusion. This, I actually think they got an extra Volt Switch through here, but it was an invisible Volt Switch. And then they overfarmed like so heavily. They threw like 7 Volt Switches before throwing. I shield up the Foul Play. I'm really glad that they revealed Foul Play because now I don't have to worry about a Hyper Beam. Foul Play is the same energy cost as Discharge. They have 2 here though, which is not ideal. And I do need to maintain the alignment, so I shield that up. Because again, the energy with Electrode is going to go places. I intentionally undercharge so I can farm them down. And now I have a Hyper Beam stored. Let's see what they want to do. Most likely they bring out the Scolipede again. I'm just going for the Hyper Beam and seeing what they want to do here. Feels bad when it gets shielded. Definitely could have double discharged. They have their own Alomomola in the back. This was a mistake. This was a big mistake. I don't know why I just didn't immediately switch. Because that Scolipede is going to be able to get some energy. Sure, this puts my own fish at an advantage here, but I should have just immediately swapped. Because I needed to preserve health on my Wormadam against that Scolipede in the back. So this is very unfortunate for me. Going to throw this Psychic. I might even undercharge it slightly. No, let's let it go. And the Scolipede is going to be able to take me out, and it's still so healthy. I really wish I would have saved the energy on my Wormadam. I should have swapped right there too, to avoid being farmed down. Because this thing is barely able to get to a move, and look what move it's running. Mega Horn, and it takes me out. Really nice play by my opponent. I completely threw that game. Wormadam into Scrafty. It's a tough lead, but I'm going to chip it and then most likely switch out. Or that's how I think I should play this. I'm not sure if I do it in this game. But that's how I tend to play this matchup now. If they Foul Plume if they foul play me immediately, that's a nice play on their part. They let it go. Gonna switch out. They bring out a Charmer. So at this point I'm thinking, is it Scrafty double charm? And if that's the case, I'm kind of screwed because my Wormadam is so low. But I'm going to be able to land another discharge here. Really hoping to get a shield. I do get a shield. Very nice for me. These Volt Switches really add up. Clefable's very low. So I actually bring out my fish to absorb this move. And this was a terrible shield because there's a Meteor Mash. I don't know why I didn't bring out the Wormadam. Oh, I think I saved it because I was worried that they would have another Charmer in the back, and then I'm looking to instant swap. It's actually a Scolipede in the back. The Scrafty's able to get off another move, which is not ideal. It is just a power-up punch. Thank goodness I'm able to get to this Iron Head. Only reason I'm able to get to this Iron Head is because I threw an Iron Head in the opening matchup, which saved me some energy. This is not great. This is not great. I'm easily going to get outpaced here. So I just have to hope that the waterfall damage is going to do enough. I no shield this, but they went for Sludge Bomb. That's alright. I'm able to tank it. Really hoping that they're not going to be able to get to back-to-back X-Scissors here, but they're doing such a good job at denying my fast moves. There's one X-Scissor, and they get to another. Amazing play by my opponent. Should have shielded the first one for sure. But it's just a tough call, right? Like whether or not they bait. Alright, very bad lead. If it's Ember, it's terrible. If it's Rock Throw, I can play this out a little bit. Throw an Iron Head and then swap. All I'm looking to do is just get this thing low enough that I can hang with it in the back end. So there's my swap. Half the shield, whatever this is. That would really hurt. Out comes Wigglytuff. I'm fine with this. Gonna go for double discharge because this guarantees that I get a shield. When shields are up like this, oh, I actually noticed that I can barely get to this Hyper Beam. So check this out. Boom, able to win back switch is pretty huge because now my fish is gonna be on this Magcargo, and then we'll see what they have in the back. It's probably another Charmer, right? It is. And so because I was able to get that alignment, this is very favorable for me, and I'm able to win that game. Good game. I think we have one more battle here. If you have stuck around for the entire time, I really appreciate it. I hope you all appreciate these longer videos. I just like to provide you with as much insight as possible to help you learn some of these matchups and learn how to play these teams that I'm running. Because I know a lot of you out there are kind of struggling with team comps in Love Cup right now, because it's pretty wild. I absorbed 2 Night Slashes there, which is not great. Gonna swap Electrode here. The defense fell. That's really good for me. They bring out Seeking here, so I'm wondering if this is double water in the back, because Seeking is definitely not a response to Electrode. Able to get to another discharge here. Let's see if they want to burn both shields. They do. So Drill Run would obviously take me out. The fact that they're bringing this out here, I really want to preserve my Electrode, because why else would you bring out a water type onto an electric type unless you have another water in the back? It is an Alomomola. They attempted a sack swap on their Scizor, but then they fainted. Because my attack got dropped, I swapped out to clear my debuff, but this is going to be a pretty clean GG's here. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.